Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So in today's video, we are going to solve our blind series 24th question, which is Decode Ways. So let me give you a brief explanation about the problem statement. So in the problem statements, there are some letters which are mapped to some particular strings. For example, like there is a letter A which is mapped to string 1 and B mapped to string 2 and so on. The Z character is mapped to 26. And we are given a string as a parameter of a function parameter, and in that string each of the character is in between 0 to 9 digit, and our task is to partition that particular string in such a way that those parts are mapped to the particular mapping which is given here to us, and we have to count the number of ways that how we can decode that particular string so that it will match the mapping that is given to us here. Okay, now so let's say we are given a string, say 1 1 and 1, and now we have to find the number of possible ways to decode this particular string so that those partition actually satisfy the mapping that is given to us. So let's say uh, the number of ways we can decode this particular strings. Let's say first way is I will let each of the character be singly decoded. So I will get 1 1 and 1. Okay, and if I try to map it, so I will get one way is mapped to A and again A and again A, and I see that it is a valid mapping. Okay, it is a valid mapping, so I can say there is one way, which is this, to decode that particular string, this particular string. Okay, what can be the another way? Another way can be I can group the first two characters. Okay, I can group the first two characters, so it will be 11, and let the other letter be as it is. So how can I map this? Here I have 11. Okay, and 11 can be mapped as K. Okay, and this solo 1 is mapped to K. I hope you get it why I say 11 is mapped to K, because A is mapped to 1, B is mapped to 2, C is mapped to 3, and so on. There will be K which is mapped to 11. Okay, till Z which is mapped to 26. Okay, that's how we done it, and I see that it is also a valid mapping. Okay, so, and what can be another way? If I try to, let's say, map 1 1 1, let's say, for example, I will try to map this as a whole. So I see that there the maximum I can, there is a mapping of 26. So I will say that this particular mapping is not possible. Any digit which go beyond 26, okay, which this string, if it forms beyond 26, so I will make it as invalid, and I will go back and try for different other possibilities. Okay, so what can be other than that? What can be other possibility that I can achieve? One way can be I will take the first character as it is, and I will group the last two characters. Okay, I will group the last two characters. So what mapping I will get by it? I will get A and K, and I see that this mapping is also a valid mapping. So I can say there are two, what are the number of ways we can decode this particular string. There are three total number of ways to decode this particular strings. So I will return 3 as my answer. Okay. And if you see, there are no other ways to decode this particular string more than that, because I already covered that. This, if I take it this string as a whole, this is invalid because it's go beyond the 26 digit. Okay, and there is also one exception uh, of it. Let's see that. Okay, so now let's say, for example, we are given a string, say 1 0 and now let's see how, in how many ways can we partition it. So let's say in one way, let's say I partition it as 1, then 0 and 1. Okay, and let's try to map each character of this. So 1 will be mapped to A, and now I will get 0, and I see that there is no mapping that is given to us starting from 0. That the mapping is always start from A and ends at 26, which is at Z. So when I get this type of case where the map, where the digit that is formed is actually less than, or you can say simply the digit is actually 0, starting from 0. So this is my invalid mapping, and at this time I will say I will not go any further than this because no digit is actually starting from 0. So let's negate it and try for other possibilities. So if I try for other possibilities, so let's say I will group together the first two character. Okay, so I group together first two character and let the third character be as it is. So I see that I can map it as the 10 will be mapped to J and 1 will be mapped to A. Okay, and it's a valid mapping. Okay, so there is one way to decode this particular string. Okay, let's say what can be another way. Let's say I will let the first character be as it is, and I will group the last two characters. So 1 will be mapped to A, and now I see that 0 1. Okay, I will say 0, and I say here that there is no mapping which is starts from 0. And if you, let's say if you are thinking that okay 0 1 is actually equal to this one, and so the 0 1 mapping will be A, but it is not true because in the question also we are given that uh, 0 1 does not equal means does not it is not equal to 1, and you can't say that 0 1 is also mapping to A. And whenever we get this type of string which starts from 0, so in this type of cases also we negate these possibilities. Okay, so we simply say that decoding this way is also not possible, so we also neglect this. Okay, and if we try for any other possibilities, okay 101 is also not possible because it is go beyond 26. Okay, so at last we see that there are only one possible way to decode it, which is this 10 and 1. Okay, and let's say if there is also one string, let's say you are given 0 and 6, which is also in the example, we get the number of ways we can decode it is 0 because we, ca- we can't just say that 0 6 is equal to 6 because it is invalid, as the starting point of the particular digit is actually 0, so we can't able to decode it. Okay, and if you try to let's say you saying that okay I will partition it as this is 0 and 6, 6 can be partitioned. Okay, 6 can be mapped to 6 can be mapped, but 0 can't be mapped with any of the characters, so it is also a wrong way. Okay, so I hope you get the basic idea what actually question wants us to do and how can we decode it. So now the question is how can we convert this particular approach into our code. Okay, so let's see that. Let's say the string is 1010. Okay, so how can we find the number of ways to decode this particular string. Okay, so you see that each time whenever you are at a particular character, you have two choices. Either you will take this particular character, okay, and decode it, means you will map this particular character, okay, and you will move forward to check for other characters, or another way can be you will group it with the next character, then map it, and then move forward to map the other characters of the string. Okay, so you see that at every point in the string you have the two possibilities. Either you take it and map it then move forward, or you can group it then map it and then move forward. For example, let's say you take first of all 1. Okay, then the rest of the string will be 10 0 okay, or you will take 10 and the rest of the string will be 10. Okay, or you can first take 1 then take 0. Okay, let's say you take 0 and then the rest of the string will be 10. Okay, so you see here this and this is actually same. Okay, same string here. Okay, and the just the previously decision that you have made is just different, but the afterward, because the afterward decision you will take here will be the same, because it can be you will take the decision, maybe you will take 1 and 0 as individual, or you will group it. So, and here also you will either take 1 or 0 as individual, or you can group it. So you see that you have to calculate this both time, like at each of the step you have to calculate this also and this also, and you don't want that unnecessarily, because if you have already computed this 10, that how many ways to decode this particular string, so you can use that particular answer, like how many ways you can, it has how many ways that you can decode this particular string, so you can simply use that particular answer that you have generated previously here. So from this you can conclude that this problem is actually of dynamic programming problem. Okay, so we will use dynamic programming here. Okay, we will store the computation of the string in a particular vector, and we will use it further if in any case we will need it. Okay, so let's see how can we do that. Okay, so let's say we are given a string 1203. Okay, so the string 1203. Now let's find out that how many ways can we decode it, and how we will do that. Okay, so our first character, I see that it is 1. Okay, so let's take this particular character 1, and I will map I and I will see that will I able to map this particular character with any with the mapping that is given to us. Okay, yeah, I can map it with A. Okay, so I will map it with A, and I will move forward. And what is the remaining that I have? It is 203. Okay, now in 203, can I map the first character 2 with anything? Okay, yeah, it can. The 2 can be mapped with B. Okay, so it can also be mapped. Then I will move forward, and I will have 0 and 3. So I have previously covered that if any character which will be starting from 0 will be negated, because there is no mapping is given to us which is actually starts from 0. The only mapping that starts from is 1 and ends at 26. So it is an invalid mapping, and the decision we have take previously is wrong. So I will move back. Okay, I will know I will not go any further because it is invalid mapping. So previously here I have mapped 2 to B, but I see that when I go further than that and try to decode the rest of the string, which is 03, it is invalid. So I will try another way. The another way will be I will group 2 and 0 as 1, and I will try to map 20. And I know that 20 can be mapped to between 1 to 26. Okay, so let's say 20 will be mapped to some other character. Okay, some character, let's say X. Okay, so the remaining string will be 3, and I know 3 can be mapped to C. And if I go any further, so I say that string is empty. If a string is empty, it means I have reached the last of the string. It means the previously all the character that I have partition and mapped is actually correct. So I can simply return, at this case I will simply return 1, because it is the way I have taken now is actually right. Okay, so I will simply return 1, and I will say this is one of the way I can decode this particular string. And what is the way that I have found is, first of all I have taken 1, then I have taken 20, then I have taken 3, and yeah, it is a right mapping. Okay, it is a correct mapping. So now I will do backtracking. Okay, I will do backtracking. I will see there 203. I know that 203 as a whole cannot be mapped. Only two characters, maximum of two characters I can map, on from which the starting character can only be either 1 or 2, because it from from 1 I can map from 10 to 19, and from 2 I can map character from 20 to 26. Okay, so these will be two conditions, and the first character can only be 1 or 2, and if any character is, if there will be any character other than that, so it is also a invalid. Okay, invalid partition simply. So I come here. Okay, and I see here that okay, there are no any other way that I can partition it. So now I will try another possibility starting from the first character. Okay, so I have previously I have done taken one as an individual, and then I will group to 2 0 and then 3, but now I will group 1 with 2. Okay, which become 12, and 12 can be again mapped with some other character which is L. Okay, 12 can be mapped with character 12 L. Okay, so it is also a valid mapping. Now again I will move forward. What I will get is 0 and 3, and again this condition again arises. Okay, this 0 comes at the first of the string. So again I will say this is a the previously mapping that we have done is actually wrong, and because we are getting the first character as 0, so I will negate this possibility and go back. But I see that I have already mapped as a group. Previously I have already mapped as group, which is 1 2, and I can no longer group it with another digit. So I can simply say that no, I cannot move any further than that. So I will again backtrack, and I see that in in first character I have already mapped it with as 1 and again and 1 2. So I can here also I can no longer map it with three characters. Okay, which is 1 2 0. Okay, no, it is invalid. So at last I can only say that the only possible way to decode this particular string 1203 is this way. Okay, and the answer that has written to us is 1, simply. So the answer will be 1. Okay, hope you understand this approach. So let's move to the coding part to understand it better. Okay, so first of all let us get this uh, length of the string. Okay, now I will call the function, okay, which will be calculate the number of ways to decode this particular string that I will have, that is given to us as a in the parameter. Okay, and I will also set the size of the string. Okay, now I will create the function. Okay, string and okay, I will also give the starting point at which I will try to map the characters. So I will start the mapping from the 0th character. Okay, so let's say I will take it in I. Okay, if at any point I have reached the last ending of the string, okay, so it means the partition that I have done so far of the previous string are correct actually. So at this point I will simply return 1, because the partitioning way that I have done so far previously is the correct. So this is the one of the way. It indicates that it is one of the correct way of partitioning the previously string, okay, that I have partitioned. And if the another condition will be if the first character of the string is 0. Okay, is 0. So I said that there is no mapping which starts from 0. So at this point also I say that there I will not go any further than that, and I'll simply print 0 because this is not the valid partition that I have done. Okay, so now if the first letter is not 0, so it can be range from 1 to 9, and I know that from 1 to 9 I can map it to any of the characters because it is a valid mapping. So in this case I will simply map it. Okay, I will simply take this particular character and map it, and I will move forward. Okay, here I plus 1 say that okay, I have mapped the previous character, ith character. Okay, and I will move forward. Okay, to check whether the other characters in the string can be mapped, uh, can be correctly mapped or not. And this will be my first possibility. What can be the another possibility? I can group it with its next character. Okay, with its next character. Okay, I will take this particular character and the next character, and I will group it and see whether it can be mapped or not. And when can I do it? If first of all I will check whether I can whether the next character exists or not. There may be a case where I am at the last character, so at that time I cannot I cannot group it with the next character because there is no next character. Okay, so I will check whether my ith character is less than the last ending. Okay, the last ending point. Let's see here. For example, let's say you're given a string 1 2 3. If you I am checking and the index 0 1 2. Okay, and the size of the string is 3. Okay, so I will check whether let's say I am at this point, so I will check whether 1 is less than 3 minus 1. Okay, 3 minus 1 means it is 2. So either 1 is less than 2. If it's correct, so okay, I can try to group it with its next character. And if I am at 2, let's say, so in this at this time I will the condition will be 2 is 2 less than 2. No, it is incorrect. So 3 will not try to map it with its next character because the next character is actually not existing. Okay, so this that's why I have written here n minus 1. And what will be the next condition of it? Okay, and when the I already said that the character can only be grouped if the first character is 1 or 2, because the range which is given to us here, okay, the range which is given to here is from 1 to 26. So I know that if I want to group two characters, so the range that I can group it is from 10 to 26. So the first character can only be 1 or 6. Okay, so if the first character is either 1, okay, if it is either 1, so I don't care what the next character is, because the next character can be a 0, 1, 2, 3, or till 9. Okay, I don't care, because there's a valid mapping from 10 to 19. Okay, but if I talk about as if the first character is 2, if the first character is 2, so I know that the maximum mapping is till 26. Okay, uh, if the next character after this 2 is actually more than the 6, so I cannot consider that grouping. So simply I will write that if the next character means the next character should be less than or equal to 6. Okay, should be less than or equal to 6, then only I can consider this particular mapping. Okay, if that's the case, let me close it in the brackets. Okay, if that's the case, so I can take these two as a group and okay and map it, because it's a valid mapping. I will simply so I will simply move two times, okay, two step forward, because I know that the ith character and the I plus 1th character I have grouped it, okay, and it's a valid because I have already checked the condition here. Okay, I have already checked the condition and it has been satisfied. Then only it has moved forward in the inside the if condition. Okay, inside the if condition and run this statement. Okay, simply. So I will now check the for the further string whether it is correct or not, and at last I will simply return my answer. But since I have already tell you that there is so many overlapping condition that might have occurred, so we will be using dynamic programming. Okay, so I will be creating a dp vector and initialize all its element with -1 of size n, of course, and I will pass it in the function. Okay, I will pass in the function and I will take it. Okay, I will also pass it in this function calling, and now I will add one more condition here, that is if I have found any possibility that has already been calculated at any particular index, so I will simply return that possible answer and I will not compute it again and again. Okay, and I will simply return, also save that particular possibility here also. So now let's try to run it. Okay, so you see we have already seen covered this input 1203, and we have seen that the only possible ways to decode this is 120 and 3, only one way, and it is actually 1. Okay, so now let's try to submit it, and you see that it got submitted. Okay, successfully. Okay, so hope you have understood this particular problem, and you will get this question link and the source code of this in a in the description. You can check it out, and once you do this particular question, I want you to try the similar type of question of this, the variation of it, which is decode ways 2. Okay, it's just the same question, but the only difference in it is that there is also one more character that has been added in it, which is star. Okay, and the star can be converted, you can convert the star into any digits. Okay, from 1 to 9, and the 0 is excluded. So you can know that, okay, if star is added, let's say it is 1 and star or 2, so you know that the possible ways combination that can be created is 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 3 3 1 2 2 1 2 1 3 2 1 4 2, and so on till 192. and then these can be decoded as 1, then 1 2, then 1, then 2 2, or 1 2 2. So now you have to count the number of ways in this, that can you how many ways can you decode it with having star as a character. So it's a very nice question, and you can try it after solving the previous decoding ways question. So you can give it a try, and I will meet you on the next video.